make the noise. You hear the locks click, okay? And nothing. Alright, so what you gotta do is come from the passenger side, reach across, hit the window button. You reach in, and that opens the door. Hey. In case you didn't figure it out, we were talking about things I hate about my Lexus IS300. What's up, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Car Rant. Today we're ripping into the IS300. If you guys watched last week's episodes, you will have known that we picked this up for a fairly decent price, given what it is. It's a high mileage Lexus IS300 with the good old straight 6 2J GE, not turbo. So, you know, we don't get all the Sendy boy noises, but we do get some dope, almost Porsche-like sounding noises, which is cool. Today, it's time to tell you all the things that I hate and can't stand about this car. I don't know if you can see in there, but it's pretty foggy. At night, it's actually very hard to see, mostly because two things. Number one, the driver's side headlight does not work at all. I think there was a short, and it shorted the bulbs out, so the entire headlight display just does not work whatsoever. My fog lights burned out, and they actually do help provide some light at night, which isn't fun either. And the housings themselves are so foggy that the nice lights that are inside of it aren't being able to shine their light outwards. It just looks bright, but it actually doesn't provide a whole lot of light. Which leads me to another point about the lights, is that they're actually not the brightest lights anyway. One of them in the high beam slot is actually in a legal blue tint. So yeah, that's all fun and dandy. I don't want to go to jail or get arrested or get a nice fat ticket for that. So you got new headlights coming, but it just proves the point that I can't stand the lights on this car. Even back here, these tail lights, the back end of this car, primo. That looks great, except for that. Why in the world they allowed America to get these chromy, nasty looking taillights is beyond me. But, you know, that's what we're stuck with until I can find the JDM version. The JDM version, kind of like the Evo hiding back there, has all red from this line up. So it'll actually look really, really nice, really fresh. Also, these guys are just really foggy too, which is funny because that's not a light that should get foggy, but it is. I don't understand it, but it is what it is. Also, this third brake light, what is this?
What in the actual work is this?
It doesn't work. It's not even attached. There are no bulbs in it. I don't understand why it's there still. This battle will never end. I'm telling you, it will never end. But one thing I can say I do love about this car, since, you know, I just hated real hard on this car, it has a sunroof, a beautiful sunroof, something that I always wanted in a nice daily car or a fun car I could take out and just enjoy. But it also has air conditioning, which is fabulous. The problem is, it runs off a thermometer. So let me show you this. So you can set the temperature with this center dial here, right? That's cool. You know, of course, the colder it gets, the higher the temperature blowing system will kick in. But right above it is this tiny little gauge that tells you the outside temperature and the time. The hazard lights are there as well. And then you have this ancient stereo. Why does this all come together? Because in order to change out the stereo, to get rid of this nasty tape deck and everything, you have to pull this entire piece out. There is no way around it. You have to disconnect the whole thing to get this stereo out to replace it with something else. Also, to pull the stereo out, you also have to go behind the glove box and get rid of the factory amp that's back there, so you can actually run your own amp system and your own speaker system to the doors. They say you can replace these. I don't know what I'm going to replace them with yet. And also to the rear deck. The other half about the rear deck, however, is that in order to replace the rear deck speakers, you have to run your own speaker wire through the car. So yeah, basically means that if I want a different stereo head, I have to go full send on the entire speaker system in this car, which basically means you may as well buy a separate amp and a separate subwoofer. So that'll be a fun episode. Kind of a long install, but you know, it'll be worth it. People out there are probably wondering, so why not? It's just the hassle of, you can't just buy, you know, a nice $300 head unit. You have to spend the $500-600 to get all the speakers, speaker wire, all the parts you need to disconnect everything, and then maybe even go the extra mile for a couple $100 more to get a nice subwoofer box and a separate amp for that. So it's just, it's so much extra work. I like my Mitsubishis because it's so simple, and this is so much extra. One thing I hate in this car is that doohickey, right? Nope, focus, there you go. That guy right there, can't stand him. Why? Because this is ridiculous. What is this? That is so bad. Now, watch this. I'm gonna clutch in. That's first, second, not too bad. Third, fourth, and fifth is way over here. Now, for some people that's not a huge deal. For me, however, who's used to the Evo, where it's a little bit wider, not quite as close together, I've gone first, second, and straight to fifth, because this in my Evo is third gear. Fifth is like somewhere over here, so I'm not used to this crazy weird throw. And also the throw in this thing is really long laterally, or not laterally, but front to back. So yeah, that's not copacetic for a good time. So we need to find a way to shorten this up. So short shifter will definitely be needed. Also, every time you start the car, this whole transmission shakes, which tells me that more than likely we've got a lovely transmission bushing not working the way it's supposed to. That also makes it kind of bouncy when you move it into first. So I've been launching it from second, which tells me that just like the Evo over there, I now have clutch problems over here. I just can't seem to win in this car. It's not a fun way to live. Speaking of clutch, all the way down there, you see those pedals are just absolute trash. The engagement point on this clutch, you forgive my nasty feet, I just don't feel like wearing socks today, is really low in first gear. So when you start in first gear, it's like to the floor in order to get it to engage. And then in second gear, it's towards the top, which makes absolutely no sense to me. I really don't get it. I don't understand it, but it just makes for a very interesting time trying to drive this car. The cool thing is I can drive this car in flip-flops like you saw me wearing, but the bad news is that it's very tough to feel where the clutch is actually engaging. It's kind of got this ghosting point where it's like all of a sudden, oh, there it is, and then you can drive from there. I don't like that at all. I like the Evo's clutch. Yes, it's very heavy. Yes, it's extremely aggressive, but you know when you have the clutch in, you know when you've grabbed a gear, because it lets you know. It tells you what's up, and that's something that I do love about the Evo that I can't stand about this car. While we're still here in the cabin, let's move down here. Something that I can't stand. No storage compartment whatsoever here. That's cool, I guess. But then right here, you have this, what's supposed to be a cup holder, has no actual cup holder thing to it. Like my drink, I've spilt. That's how this happened, is that I put my drink down thinking it would stay where it's supposed to, and it just tipped straight over as soon as I touched the brakes even once. Because as you can see, there's nothing keeping your drink where it needs to be. It's just there, and that's horrifyingly bad, especially if you have a hot drink. That's gonna end up all on your leg, or your passenger's legs, or on your electronics if you have anything here like I do. It's just a bad day, and I don't like this whatsoever. This realistically, it's a sunglass case. That's all that's really for, is it fits a pair of nice sunglasses, like my nice fancy schmancy Ray-Bans, and that's really what it's for. There's no point to this, because when you look up here, there isn't a single spot to put your glasses like there is in, say, the Evo. So for me, not having that is just a little bit of a luxury that I thought Lexus would have given you, but apparently they don't. However, oops, I'll just throw my glasses there, close that back up. Back here, there actually is a place to put your cuffs. I don't know why they did this. I really don't. Also, I actually gave you like a small cigarette tray thing. It's the Japanese, man, they're quirky, they're weird, but it's like, come on now. You gave us this back here. Why not have something like Audi where it's a button you press right there and then there's a little thing there, you know. What's up with this, Lexus? Realistically, I love IS300s. They're cool, they're quirky, they're Toyotas, so you know they're gonna be pretty reliable if you take good care of them. And they have a Supra engine on the inside. I mean, what's not to love about that? Everyone rags on the not as nice, naturally aspirated Supra, but then when it comes to this car, to the Toyota Altezza, the Lexus IS300, they suddenly stop complaining about it and they're like, oh, it's amazing. Not really sure why, because this car is literally 2 tons. It's 3,800 pounds. So I don't get the hate. I'm just sitting there going, it's a really nice car. It has a really, really great power band for the car of its size and the way that it delivers power. It's just a good car. All in all though, I really do like this car. I really love this car because it's blue. It's everything that I wanted in an IS. I literally gave Chris a bucket list when we were trying to get another car. I said, I want it to be a blue car. I want it to have a sunroof, it needs to be a manual, and I need a sports sedan. So just looking through all the different options that I could find, I mean, this ticks all the boxes. I mean, this car, it just hits every note. It's just, oh my goodness, there's so many frustrating things about it. I hope you guys stick around for the build process on this car, because we want to get this thing running beautifully and smoothly and excellently before, you know, we really get rolling in season 6. We're also trying to do the same thing with the Gold 240. Once Ishmael moves to his new location, then we can really start cranking down on that beast and getting that thing running. But I hope you guys, if you're new to our channel, will consider subscribing. I'm not gonna be one of those guys who's like, oh, you should subscribe. Doesn't mean I want you to, but at the same time I do realize there are other channels that have done things with IS300s and Evos and all these other things that are probably doing it better than we are. The difference is we're trying to show you how we're going about this, how we're trying to do everything. So if you're interested, stick around. Otherwise, love all y'all, thanks for watching, God bless you, and we'll see you on another episode. Peace! Listen, I know we just ended the video and this is now the credit section, but the car is unlocked, right? You still have to reach in from the inside, throw them a door. But on top of all this, when you put the key in the locks, it only locks the door. It doesn't unlock the door. There's no way to get into the car. Back here, if you're trying to get into the trunk and you put your key in there, it actually doesn't go in, which tells me that either this is an aftermarket trunk lid or this key is not the original key to the car and they actually had to make a new set of keys for this thing.